It was definitely a tale of two games today. I thought we played one of our better baseball games in game one today. Behind Alex Eubanks with the shutout, who just pitched exceptionally well. I don't know if we had a free pass in that ball game. I don't have the box score in front of me, but we played very well defensively and did not allow a free pass, and that's something that we desperately needed against a really good Wake Forest ball club. And we swung the bats very, very well in game one. So I thought we played a really complete game in game one. And game two was going pretty well. Pat Crawl threw the ball very, very well. We hit the home run. And then, from the sixth inning on, the free pass and errors is what got us. I mean, the bottom line is when you make mistakes and you get to the middle of their order with a guy like Sheets, who is just, he's one of the most powerful hitters in our league and in the country, and he made us pay. Hit the big grand slam right there, and, they wind up putting a big inning together in the seventh, score 6 runs, and, we had some opportunities, but again, just made some miscues, but that's not why we lost the game. We lost the game because Wake Forest played better than we did, and that's the bottom line. They deserved to win the game. They swung the bats well with runners in scoring position late in the game, and we didn't. And you have to give them credit for that. So, but at the end of the day, we won the series, which is a good thing. I wish we would have played a little more consistent baseball there the second half of the ball game. That doesn't mean that we would have won the game. But I wish we would have been able to give ourselves a little bit of a better chance, just pounding the strike zone and playing good fundamental defense to see what would have happened. But again, we're not perfect. Our team continues to learn and grow and develop. And, we got another big week ahead of us this week, and they're all going to be big from here on out. But and we won the series, which is always a good thing. We had a great week, having a couple days off, I think, will be good for our guys, and we'll get ready for this week, which is going to be a challenging one.
Coach, when you have as much momentum as you had after that game one, and then you got an hour to wait, what is your philosophy? Do you try to just turn the page, or do you try to ride that momentum going into the next game?
Well, after the game was over, I tried my best to get them in the locker room as quickly as possible so the guys can relax a little bit. But my big message to them is what it always is momentum is created by the starting pitcher. And that's the bottom line. Whether you score 10 runs, 11 runs in a game, or 5, or whatever the case may be, what you do in one game is irrelevant if the starting pitcher is not on his game, and that's the bottom line. And both starting pitchers did a very, very good job for a majority of the game. And and that's what kept them in the game. That's what gave them a chance to win the second game. Was John Stone did a really good job of changing speeds and executing pitches and got us out front a lot. And that was the difference in the ball game. Is he did a good job of pounding the strike zone and executing pitches. And I don't know if we had very many free passes ourselves. Momentum's always created by the starting pitcher. And he did a good job for him today.
What's your message out there to the guys? Kind of a long meeting.
Well, sometimes my meetings get long-winded because I'm just passionate about trying to teach my players. So sometimes I talk way too much, but I only do it just because I care about them and I want them to develop as individuals and as a team. So I always try to find teachable moments, whether we win or lose. And there was just a number of things that I went over with the guys, just really kind of our fundamental beliefs and what we believe makes us successful. Just offensive approaches, pitching and defensive approaches, more than anything, just the mental approach to the game. This was the first time, it's not an excuse, it's something that we need to learn from. This is the first time that we've played 18 innings in one day. So we have to be able to play pitch-by-pitch baseball in that situation because if we are blessed and fortunate to play in the postseason, you can play 2 games in one day. Or in the ACC tournament if possible. So, we got to understand that on a doubleheader day that the biggest challenge is not the physical fatigue of 18 innings. They're 18 to 22 years old. They don't get physically tired. It's more about the mental fatigue of the game and being able to stay locked in and play pitch by pitch, even when you've won the series. That's a big challenge, but really good teams have to be able to do that. So that was really my message. It wasn't a negative message. It was just trying to make sure they understand where I'm coming from and what I believe is important to us as a team, and I think they understand that.
Gilling's been great all season long, but any concern at all with his performance last night and tonight?
No, I'm not concerned. I mean, I think, again, it just boils down to, Riley has done an amazing job for us this year of throwing really, really good stuff, 93 to 94 mile-an-hour fastballs and a plus curveball in the strike zone. And, today, his stuff looked pretty good. He was just missing glove side with the fastball. I think the big at bat right there was Fairchild's at bat, where we had him 1-2 with the bases loaded, and then he worked it back to 3-2 because he's a very good player and did a good job of laying off pitches out of the strike zone to work it back to 3-2, where we had to throw him a pitch over the plate, and he hit it. He did what good hitters do when they get a pitch over the plate. He smoked the ball at the middle. No, I'm not concerned. It's just something that Riley's got to learn from, and we're going to keep running him back out there. He's the best guy we got in the pen.
Coach, was that as good as you've seen Eubanks, and what was the difference, I guess, from last week to this week?
That was as good as I've seen him, and I think at first and foremost, Alex is a big-time makeup competitor, and he's just got tremendous makeup. He's a big-time competitor, and he's just one of those guys, I think, that he's just itching to get the ball. I guarantee you from his last start to this start that he could not wait to get back on the mound. That's the kind of young man he is when he's just, whether he has a good start or a tough start, and he's had a whole lot of good ones for us, he's always itching to get to baseball. And he's just a big-time competitor, and he just did a really good job of executing his fastball. I think, one of the reasons he struggled last weekend is he just didn't have quite as good a fastball command as he typically does. And today he had outstanding fastball command, was able to get ahead of them and then change speeds once he got ahead of them. So, but that's kind of what I've grown to expect from him. And I love to have the opportunity to watch him pitch after he has a tough start, because I know that he's going to be chomping at the bit to get out there and compete for us.
Coach, last night's 8-7 win turned out to be the difference in winning and losing the series. Mm-hmm. You're 9-1 this season in games decided by one run or extra innings. Mm-hmm. How special is that? Have you seen that before? I know you've coached a couple of World Series teams with the Gamecocks, but have you been around a team that has been that clutch before?
I think the big thing is when you win close ball games, it's because your guys compete without the fear of failure, and you try to do everything you can to make sure that they embrace pressure situations and believe that they can play in those pressure situations. And, to us, we just always try to embrace playing in pressure because, a lot of times pressure is what you define